Hello, hi, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another TBR prompt jar picks my monthly reads. We have our prompt jar here, and in this month we are doing something a bit different. So normally I would pick 3 books from my TBR prompt jar, and those are going to be the books for that month. But given my track record of finishing my TBRs, we are not going to be doing that anymore. So instead of picking 3 books from my TBR prompt jar, we are only going to be picking 2 books from my TBR prompt jar. But on my April TBR, we're going to have 4 books in total. That sounds kind of counterintuitive, I guess, because usually I would put 3 books on my monthly TBRs, but all from my TBR prompt jar, but we are doing something different. This is the only month that I'm going to have 4 books because we need to read a book before getting to the actual book on my TBR. So let's jump into the books that are already confirmed on my April TBR. So the first book that is confirmed on my April TBR is going to be a book club pick, either from Freya or Jamie, and they host a podcast together called Once Upon a Time Zone. We are going to pick either Freya's or Jamie's book club pick of the month on Fable, and this time I am going to pick Jamie's book club pick, which is The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez. I am so excited for this. I didn't choose Freya's only because it hasn't been released yet, and I really want to read The Night We Met. So I'm already leaning towards that. This is going to be a confirmed book on my April TBR. And moving forward, we're going to have 3 books on my monthly TBRs. One of them is going to be either Freya's or Jamie's book club pick of the month on Fable, and the other 2 would be from the TBR prompt jar. But this month, we need to read 4 because we need to read Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez before reading The Night We Met. This is on my spring TBR. This is also on my 26 books for 2026. We are going to be reading The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez this month. This is the perfect time to read Say You'll Remember Me. So this is also going to be on my April TBR, just so that it makes it more achievable. So let's make it more realistic. Let's make it more achievable instead of picking books and not even getting to read them and then pushing it to another month or what have you. Say You'll Remember Me is going to be the second book on my April TBR. Now, I don't know if picking 4 books for this month was a smart idea because at the end of the month, I am going on vacation. And for those that know me, when I go on vacation, I actually do not read. And when I come back from vacation, I get into like a mini reading slump because I haven't been in the groove of reading. So we will see how this month goes. So without further ado, let's jump in to picking my TBR for the month. Let's shake this up. The first prompt is, maybe I'll pick a thick one because that's kind of one of those quote-unquote unique prompts, which is heavily inspired by Emily from Emily's Book Leaf. So shout out to Emily. I think this is the direction. Okay. If you had your coffee or tea today, pick a book you're excited about. If not, pick one that you've been avoiding. Okay, so before filming this video, I wanted to make my steep tea, but whenever I'm filming, I actually don't gravitate towards my drinks. So I decided to not make my steep tea until after this video. So no, I did not have my coffee or tea today, which is sad. And I have to pick a book that I've been avoiding. Oh yeah. I just reorganized my bookshelf, so I'm so used to looking here, but I should be looking at my TBR cards. Exciting. I feel like books that I've been avoiding are on the bottom and in the back of this cart. Classics are books that I've been avoiding. I've been avoiding my DNFs as well. So I'm going to be picking this book. Let's add a romance maybe. I'm not really avoiding this book though. It's more so I'm just not itching to pick it up. Is that still avoiding? I want to add, I don't want to start a new series. Oh wait, is that avoiding too? Okay, so I'm going to add this and this. Whoa, I have a lot of books I'm avoiding. Intimidation, does that count as avoiding too? No, I do want to read this, so no. Maybe I'll pick a classic too. I really don't want to read a classic though. And let's see what else is there in the front. I'm really not avoiding anything on the front. Yeah, I guess that's good. Let's do one more check at the back of my TBR cart. Actually, maybe I'll add this book as well. Wow, I have a lot of books that I'm avoiding. Okay, I think I'm good. We have our contestants. The first book is Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. I've had this for so long now, and I just don't know why I actually wanted to pick this up. Oh, I'm just looking at the text here too. I'm just like, whoa, that's not something I want to read. It's just very squished together and just a lot of text. Should I read the Memoirs of a Geisha? I mean, this is a book I have been avoiding, but at the same time, it would be good to finish it or see if I can finish it, or it becomes a DNF and I unhaul it. So I guess it'd be nice to read it. I actually do not know the genre of this book, but I've heard of it because it is a movie. I did watch the movie, but I did fall asleep to it. So this is going to be in the semifinals, so it's still a possible choice because it's technically a book I am avoiding. We have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. Classics are just something I tend to not gravitate towards. I find them to be a bit harder to read, but this is a shorter book, so I think it's doable, and I really don't want to fall into a reading slump. And then I'm going on vacation, like it's just not ideal for me to read a book that I'm avoiding because that's just gonna throw me into a reading slump. So this is also going to be part of the semifinalists. We have If We Were Villains by ML Rio. I've been avoiding to read this only because I think I've DNF'd this book twice, and it's a big soft DNF because the first time I tried to read this was a library book. The second time I tried to read this was not the right season. So maybe I'll save it for the right season and try it out. So we're in springtime and this is just giving fall. And so we're going to save this for the fall time. I just don't want to read it because I've been avoiding it. It's one of the prompts. I think I'm just going to save this for the fall time when I'm actually in the mood to read it and just not forced to read it and see myself DNFing this again. So this is gonna be for the fall time. We have The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I've read the first book and listened to the second book, but I don't know what happened. And when I read this book, it took me 2 to 3 months to finish it, so I just don't remember what happened. So I mean, the only reason why this is in the list is because I've already read it, and also I want to finish the series, but I don't want to start a series. So that's, I guess, avoiding. I don't want to start a new series. And you know what? This might be good because I could not read it physically. I can listen to it through an audiobook because I've already read the physical copy of The Cruel Prince already. So if I'm going on a plane or if I'm doing something around the house, maybe I could listen to the audiobook of The Cruel Prince. So semifinalists, we have The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. I don't think I've been avoiding it because I've been DNFing it. I just have other romance novels that I want to get to first. So I'm not really avoiding it for any particular reason. It's just not on the top of my list because I have other romance novels I want to get to instead. So I guess it doesn't really fit. It's just something I'm not gravitating towards, not really avoiding. Like when I see this book, I wouldn't mind picking it up. It's just maybe not now because I want to read, let's say, Abby Jimenez, or I want to read more Ali Hazelwood. So I don't think I'll count this one. So that's a no. And finally, I feel like this is the biggest contender. The first book I thought about when it was a book that I am avoiding was this book, which is The Atlas Six by Olivia Blake. Only because this is going to be my 4th time trying to read this book. I've never really solid DNF'd this book because I've never gotten past the 50-page mark. And I just don't think that's fair. I think maybe I should at least, how many pages are there in here? There's probably around 400. So I think at least I should get to the 200-page mark or at least 150 so I have a general idea to see what's going on. 50 pages out of 400, you're just still setting up the story. I don't think it's fair to solid DNF this, so I've been soft DNFing 3 times now, and this is going to be my 4th time reading this. This is literally the definition of a book that I've been avoiding. So I'm going to put that as my semifinalists. So we whittled down to these 4 books, and I'm going to whittle down 2 more. So I am going to whittle down Memoirs of a Geisha because this is going to definitely put me into a reading slump, and I'm going on vacation. So I just really don't want to be in a reading slump at this point. So this is going to be a no. Maybe the classic, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I think I'm gonna keep that as a no as well for this time around. Although it is a very short book, but it's a classic, and also the text is very tiny. I want to actually take my time with classics. For this one, let me see the first page. Let me read the first sentence. Oh, there's an introduction. I'm gonna skip that, but I will read it. Where's the beginning? Oh, they don't have chapter numbers. Okay, we're going to start with Story of the Door. Mr. Utterson, the lawyer, was a man of a rugged countenance that was never lighted by a smile, cold, scanty, and embarrassed in discourse, backward in sentiment, lean, long, dusty, dreary, and yet somehow lovable. Okay, I mean, that wasn't that bad, but is this something I've been avoiding compared to these? Instead of whittling it down to 2 books, I think I am going to lean. I actually don't want to read the Atlas 6 now because I think that would be perfect for the fall time too. But then again, I've been trying to read this during the fall time, almost every fall time, and I've just been DNFing it. Fall and winter time, actually. So maybe it's time to read it in the springtime. Oh, and this is starting a new series too. The book that I am avoiding is the Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. So we are going to read this. But is it fair to read this when I am going on vacation and will fall into a reading slump, which can lead to me DNFing this again? I have been avoiding these, but what do I want to read? Let's just do that. Out of all these books, this is the shortest, but I have learned my lesson. Just because a book is short in the number of pages does not mean I'll read it faster. So I would say I want to save this for another time. I'm not going to read this time around. And between these 2 books, we have the Atlas 6 and The Cruel Prince. Technically, I can listen to this through an audiobook just so that I can catch myself up on what I have missed. I probably missed some things in The Cruel Prince. I can always listen to this through an audiobook, but technically I can also listen to this through an audiobook. So out of these 2 books, the book that I am really avoiding is probably this one. We made up our mind. We are going to read the Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake as our book that I have been avoiding. Let's try a 4th time around to see whether I can get through this book or if it will become a DNF. That is the Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. We are going to pick up one more and hopefully it's a, well, actually, doesn't matter if it's going to be a skinny one or not, but I feel a skinny one right here. This one, I'm assuming, is the right direction. Pretty cover. All right. So, oh, I'm so used to looking here. I have to stop looking here. So a pretty cover. Don't really have any pretty covers in the back. So let's go back to the front. I don't think I have that many pretty covers. And I also have my spring TBR in front of me. So first off, we have By Ash, Oak, and Thorn as my pretty cover. Of course, I always said that this was a pretty cover. This one is okay, I guess. Once Upon a Broken Heart, at least my edition of it is not that pretty. So I'm not gonna bring that over. Everything else isn't screaming pretty to me. It's more so just a cover to me. Yeah, I think I'm good. So we have no more contestants. If I didn't return Agnes Aubrey's Mystical Cat Shelter, I would say that's a pretty cover too. So for the pretty cover, I'm going to be reading By Ash, Oak, and Thorn by Melissa Harrison. I was always planning on reading this in April anyway, so this is perfect because this is very doable, especially with my vacation coming shortly at the end of April. So this is very doable. Let's bring down my TBR. Imagine there's one more book in here, which is The Night We Met. So these are the books that are going to be on my April TBR. We have By Ash, Oak, and Thorn by Melissa Harrison, which is the pretty cover. We have Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez in preparation for The Night We Met. And finally, for the book that I've been avoiding, The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. I hope it doesn't matter the season to read this for me because I've been reading this in the fall time, so let's change it up and do it in the spring. I don't think it's a spring book anyway, but let's see how it'll go. Maybe it'll be a better experience. These are the books that I'll be reading in the month of April, plus The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!